All right. Well,
What am I supposed to say back? Sabbath peace.
there we go.
Amen.
We there's another opportunity for us to hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. We know all honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know it's obtained by grace through faith, not of works, but given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if we do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that we do not believe. In this state, we should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything get, be it a gift of tongues, gift of prophecy, fancy car, new job, whatever it might be, it can and it will be used against us in the day of judgment if we do not repent. That said, peace to the saints that are in the room, saints that are watching in on the camera, and to those that couldn't make it. But no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Let's jump on over us in the spirit of unleavened bread. Let's go ahead and go to Leviticus chapter 23, let's go to Exodus chapter 13, verse, what am I looking for? 7 maybe? Might be a little further down than that. 7? Just give me one. We'll just start at the top. This is Exodus chapter 13, verse 1.
The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever opens the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast is mine.
Right? So he said, anything that opens the womb of the children of Israel, so anything that comes from the womb and the children of Israel, whether it's a man, right, whether it's a human being or whether it's a beast, he said it's mine, right? He owns it. He's taking ownership of it. That's why matter of fact, let's jump over into Luke. It's Luke chapter 2. Let me try to shoot through this real quick. It's Luke chapter 2. Give me about verse 6.
So it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she delivered.
So this is Mary. He's talking about Mary, right? Whose name in Hebrew is Miriam. All right. So he said the days were accomplished where she would be delivered. In other words, she was ready to have that baby. Right. So let's see what happened after that.
Brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn.
Right. So you see how it said that she brought forth her what?
Firstborn son.
Her firstborn son. So we just read in Exodus, it told us the first male that opens the matrix. In other words, the first male that comes from the womb. Right? It just told us the first male that comes from the womb is his. It's the Most High God's, whether it be a man or a beast. Right? And then it tells us that she had her firstborn son. Jump on down to verse 20. It's Luke chapter 2, verse 20.
Shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. When 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Yahushua.
Right. So after that, his name was called Yahushua. The book says Jesus right there. Right. But his name is Yahushua because that's how you say it in the Hebrew. Right. We already talked about it a few times how we ended up getting from Hebrew Yahushua all the way to Jesus in the New Testament. Right. But we know his name was Yahushua. Let's jump over or keep going for me.
Which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male that opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord.
Right? So that's what they quoted. So you see, Mary, she followed the law. She had to go and take her son, Yahushua, to present him before the Lord, because we just read in Exodus that every firstborn male had to be presented to God. It was God's, right? So that means you had to redeem him. So then she goes in and watch what she does to redeem him.
To offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
All right, so that was for her purification, right? That's also in our law. Let's go back to 13. So this is Exodus chapter 13, verse, we're going to skip down a little bit. Verse 3. Verse 4. Well, we might as well start. We left off at 3, right? We left off at 2, right? All right, so this is Exodus chapter 13, verse 2, verse 3.
Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you came out of Egypt,
Uh-huh.
out of the house of bondage, for by strength and hand By strength of hand, the Lord brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten.
All right, so he told us no leavened bread shall be eaten. Look what else he said.
This day came ye out in the month Abib.
He said, this day came ye out in the month Abib, right? So they came out in the month of Abib. It's the month that we celebrate right now, right? So they came out in the month Abib. He said, this is the time that you came out. He said, no unleavened bread shall be eaten. So he told, what he's teaching us about right now is the day that we're trying to memorialize, right? So let's look at it.
It shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, Jebusites, swear unto thy fathers to give thee a land flowing with milk and honey. Thou shalt keep this service in this month.
Right. So he said you're gonna end up keeping this service in this month, right? So this is something that we do year by year. Right. Keep going.
7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the 7th day shall be a feast to the Lord.
Right. Keep going.
Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days. There shall no leavened bread be seen with thee. Shall there be leaven seen in all thy quarters.
All right. So he said, get rid of all the leaven. He said, don't let any leaven be seen with you in all thy quarters. Right. In all your dwelling places, wherever you live. Right. He said, get rid of all the leaven. Let's see what else.
Thou shalt show thy son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which the Lord did unto me. I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be for a sign unto thee on thine hand, for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance from year to year. And it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee to the land of the Canaanites, as he swore unto thee thy fathers, and shall give it thee. Thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that opens the matrix. Every firstling that comes of a beast which thou have, the male shall be the Lord's.
Right. So now this is also now talking about what Mary just did. Remember, Mary presented Yahushua in the temple to the Most High God. So this is kind of talking about the same thing. It goes a little deeper into it.
Every firstling of a donkey thou shalt redeem with a lamb. Thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck. And all the firstborn of man among thy children shalt thou redeem.
All right, so he said every firstborn of man you'll end up redeeming. Right? So Yahushua had to be presented, and he had to be redeemed because he is the firstborn. Right? And he ends up being the redeemer for us. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Let's see if we can understand a little bit more about leaven. Right? Because when we kept it, we had to get all the leaven within our house, right? That's what all our people did. We had to get all the leaven, put it outside our quarters. We had to purge it, right? We had to get rid of all the leaven. Now this is going to be Paul. Now this is Paul. He's talking about it's a bunch of pens right there. This is Paul. He's talking about us and how he's relating leaven, right? So we look at leaven. We know what that is. That's an agent to cause bread to rise, right? But now, Paul's going to talk about leaven, and he's going to relate it to something else, right? Much like what the Bible does. It's going to represent something else. So we're going to try to see if we can get that understanding. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 5. We're going to start at verse 1, but now let's go ahead and jump down to verse 5.
Verse what?
We're going to go to 5, verse 5. This 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 5. You see what you starting? Okay, get over here and sit down. You lost your mind, boy. Sit down. Don't move. Go ahead. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 5.
To deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Jesus. Your glorying is not good.
He said, your glorying is not good.
Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?
Right? So now he told us, he said, don't you know that a little bit of leaven leaveneth the whole lump, right? Just before this, he's talking about a man that's among the congregation that's sin, right? And he is like, y'all glorying in it like it's cool, kind of like how Christians do today, right? You watch a lot of Christians, and what they do is, well, see, God loves the sinner but hates the sin, right? And they almost glorify the fact that they able, see, God been good. See, God's a gracious God to me. We need to be going to the strip clubs and preaching at the strip club. We need to be going out to the strip and preaching at the strip, right? Because what they're doing is they're glorying that they can be around sin, right? But what he's telling them right here, he is like, the glorying that you're doing, that's not good, right? Don't you know a little bit of, Zahar, be quiet. He said, don't you know just a little bit of the leaven? He said, a little bit of leaven, that thing will leaven the whole bunch, all right? The whole lump, right? Because what happens is, even if you put just a little bit of yeast inside the bread, I'm just going to put a little bit of yeast on the right side of the bread and maybe only the right. No, it's going to cause the whole lump to leaven up. It's going to cause the whole thing to rise once you put it in there. What are you saying? You got to pee? All right? It's going to cause the whole thing to rise. So that's why he said a little bit of the leaven, it leavens the whole lump. Go pee. And get back over here and sit down after you're done. Go ahead. Hurry up. Go ahead.
Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
Right? He's called them our Passover. That's the day that we just passed here. That was last night, right? He told us Christ our Passover. He was a sacrifice for us. All right, go ahead and go to Mark chapter 8. Let's see how Yahushua will look at it. This is Mark chapter 8, verse 14. This is Mark chapter 8, verse 14.
Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them more than one loaf. And he charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. Mm-hmm. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it because we have no bread?
Right, so he's using the word leaven again. He's saying, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. Right, so he used the word leaven again. So they looking like, saying that to us because we ain't got no bread. I mean, we did forget the bread. So he thought they were talking about bread. Right, keep going.
When Yahushua knew it, he said unto them, why reason ye because ye have no bread? Mm-hmm. Perceive not yet, neither understand. Mm-hmm. Have ye your heart yet hardened? Having eyes ye see not, having ears hear ye not. Mm-hmm. And do ye not remember? When I break the 5 loaves among 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? They say unto him, 12.
Keep going.
And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? Mm-hmm. And they said 7. Right,
so he accused them of having a hard heart simply because they didn't know that he was talking, when he said leaven, that he wasn't talking about bread. So since they thought he was talking about bread, which leaven is related to bread, that is the first thing that a person would think of naturally is bread. So since they didn't know that what he is talking about, he told them that they had hard hearts. Right? That's how important it is for us to be in tune with the Most High God, to be in tune with his message and what his word is saying. Right? Because it's indicative of having a hard heart if we're not. Right? If we're not in tune with it and we don't know what he's talking about. All of us either start or end up with a hard heart. Right? Our goal is to soften our heart towards the word of God. All right? So he told them, he was like, okay, so y'all think I'm talking about bread. Y'all don't remember when we just had a little bit of bread and I fed 4,000 people and then 5,000 people. Right? He was like, how many baskets did you take up? How much bread did we have left over here? He said, how much bread did we have left over? Right? And so now let's see.
And he said unto them, how is it that ye do not understand? Uh-huh. He came to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man unto him, and saw him to touch him.
So he's looking and he's saying, how is it that you don't understand these things? How is it that you don't understand what I'm talking about when I said leaven? He don't explain it to him here, but let's go to Luke chapter 12, verse 1. He'll explain it to him real simply here. This is Luke chapter 12, verse 1. Hand out of your mouth, please. Thank you.
In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy.
Right, so he tells us exactly what it is here. Right, he told us, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Right, because it's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. That was the leaven of the Pharisees. Right. That's the leaven of Herod, right? Sin, right? So that's the same way Paul used it. He said when it came to sin, he looked at him. He said, "Don't you know just a little bit of leaven that'll leaven up the whole bunch? That'll cause the whole piece of bread to rise if you just put a little bit in there." He said, in that same way, that's how sin spreads. I mean, just one person sinning and you being around it and you agreeing with it and you think it's okay. He said, just that one person that can cause the whole congregation to sin, right? That's why he said, put them out from among you. Right? In the same way with Yahushua, he said, pay attention. You mess around, you mess with the leaven of the Pharisees, that'll mess up your whole program, right? You just get a little bit of that teaching in you, and then there you go. Right? It'll leaven up the whole lump. Right? So that's why we keep this day, right? In its originality in the day that we originally kept it, right? It represented us getting out in a hurry. Right? Exodus 12 would describe to us the time where the Most High God struck the land of Egypt. Y'all leave him alone for me. Y'all get back for me. All right, he said the Most High God, he struck the land of Egypt and struck the firstborns. All right, and when he struck the firstborns, he took all the firstborns of Egypt. Right, any Egyptians, any of the firstborns in Egypt, he took them. Right, but he spared all the children of Israel. And the way that he spares them is that he takes the lamb, right? We take the lamb, we slay the lamb, we put it over our doorpost. And so when the angel came through and passed through and got all the firstborns of Egypt, hold on, get back. All right, and got all the firstborns of Egypt, then what he did is he passed over our people. So all our firstborns were passed over. All right? So what that in turn means for us is that since we shouldn't have been passed over, we just passed over by the grace of God. That's why he says all the firstborn males are mine. And that's why we have to redeem them. Because he's saying, nah, really, your sons owe me your life. All your firstborn children owe me your life. I got the Egyptians. I didn't get y'all. Right? So technically, all y'all sons owe me. All right? So he said every one of them, they got to be dedicated to me. So originally, before we had the Levites as priests, all the firstborn sons would serve in that office, a service towards God, right? And then the Levites came along, and he told us that instead of taking the firstborns, he redeemed all the Levites to himself. So the Levites then kept that service, right? So that's how it was in this original state. But that all it represents Yahushua in the sense that Yahushua comes to purge sin from us, right? And once he purged that sin from us, then that brings us to a place where we're clean, right? When we're unleavened in our souls. Right, and that's what we want to be. That's what Yahushua was, right? He purged all sin from it. Go to Hebrews chapter, I think it's 1 actually. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. It's Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. It's Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1.
God, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, as he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. For unto which of the angels said he at any time, Thou art my son, this day I have begotten thee?
All right. So this is Yahushua that it described. You see back in verse, what was that? Verse 2, was it? Verse 3? You see back in verse 3, read it again for me. This is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 3.
Who being the brightness of his glory,
So, all right, be quiet.
in the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins.
Right? So he purged all of our sins. All right? That was his role. All right? So he represents unleavened, right? Because we had to purge leaven from the house. All right? In that same way, he purges leaven from us in the sense of it being sin. All right? That's what we look at. When we keep these days, these are the things that fall to the wayside with Christianity, right? And a lot of these other religions, right? They miss this particular day. This weekend they're gonna be celebrating Easter, right? For them, this is Easter weekend, right? For us, it's Passover. It's the week of unleavened bread, right? But you know them Jewish people.
All later. I was like, I'm not. I was like, yeah, about all of my. I was like, well, I'm not. I'm like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, Jewish people, they can be off sometimes. They can be a little off sometimes. Just the way that they calculate. You all right? Calm down. Stomach hurt? Go over there and sit with your mom. Get your sock. All right? But that's what we look at, right? So when we keep the Passover, that's what it represents to us. All right? Not none of this Easter bunny stuff. Not none of the Easter bunny to me is a food. Talking about it smell like eggs. All right? And the Easter egg is when I see one in the toilet. Most High God told us either one of those, that thing should be done away from the camp. All right? And you got to bring a paddle with you and cover it up. All right? These things, everything about it is unclean. All right? The whole thing. If you look at, first of all, a rabbit is not going to have an egg. Right? It just wouldn't have it, right? It doesn't make any sense. But this is what these people came from, because these things come from ancient. Carlita actually sent me something that somebody was trying to tell her. And one of the things they're saying, Easter comes from Ishtar. Ishtar in the Bible is Astaroth. That's absolutely true, right? Easter and Ishtar, it would have been pronounced the same way originally, right? It's just been Americanized, right? And it does have its root in the fertility god. That's what she was. That's why it's eggs, right? Because it represents fertility. It represents giving birth, right? So that's where the egg come from, right? So now you had this bunny supposedly laying eggs, and you think about it like, wait a minute, well, bunnies don't lay eggs, right? And even if the bunny did lay eggs, the bunny is unclean. Give me Leviticus chapter 11, verse 4. I mean, let's just say per adventure. You know what I'm saying? Per adventure, a bunny laid eggs. You know what I'm saying? Let's just pretend. Let's get our Barney on. Play a little make believe. This is Leviticus chapter 11, verse 4.
Nevertheless, shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof.
Mm-hmm.
As the camel, because he chews the cud, but divide not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And the coney, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
Mm-hmm.
The hare, because he chews
the what?
The hare.
It's the tortoise versus what?
The hare.
And what was that for us?
A bunny.
That thing was a bunny, right? A rabbit, whatever you want to call it. All of it in the same family. He said the hare, and what does he do?
Because he chews the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you.
Darren, tell him what chewing the cud is.
Cud is animals that eat grass or vegetation, swallow it, their stomachs purify it, they regurgitate it,
right?
Which makes it highly.
All right, so we look at these animals.
Like cows and lambs. That's why we eat cows and lambs, because what they eat is actually cleansed by themselves.
All right, they digest their food twice. They process it twice in their body. They swallow it. They have multiple stomachs, right? This is what the scientists dug up and figured out. They have multiple stomachs. These people didn't know this back then. They ain't cut no cow open and say, oh, let me tell you how you digest. They didn't know that stuff. All they knew is the Most High God said, don't eat it. Right? He said, you can eat that cow. Right? But they didn't know why. They didn't know the science. We don't even know the scientific reasons why. They still trying to figure out a bunny. I mean, a bunny, I don't see why a bunny is unclean, because they always trying to disprove God. Right? A bunny should be fine. They try to tell you the Bible is wrong because the bunny don't chew the cud. Right? Because the bunny don't. They ready. The hair, the bunny, because what he does is he eats the food, right? And it goes to one stomach, just like we do. One stomach, and he poop that thing out. So what the scientists tell you, bunny don't chew no cud. Bunny is different, right? While the cow, he eat the food, he eat the grass, he chew it, it goes to his stomach, it goes to one of his stomach, a special stomach, right? And then it comes out, back into his mouth, he chews it again, then it goes into his regular stomach to nourish his own body, right? So they say that is chewing the cud. That's what they call chewing the cud, right? But what they don't think is, they thinking about it from a scientific matter, not how God is thinking about it. For God, all chewing the cud mean is that thing went out and it came back up, right? You ate something that came back up, right? What a bunny does, what they miss that a bunny does, is a bunny eats its own poop. A bunny, at least once a day, bunnies are going to eat their own poop, right? And it's not regular poop. It's just not any poop that comes out. It's a special poop, just like a cow. Same thing. They poop it out. It's a special type of poop, and they eat it once a day, and it's digested, and it helps them digest, and it's nutritious for them, right? It's not all they poop. It's a special type of poop that they lay. Just like the cow, it goes to a special stomach, right? But they miss that. They look at it because it's not doing what the cow do. They say, oh, that's not true. The Bible's wrong. Bunnies don't don't chew the cud. Then they start paying attention. You look at it. Well, that thing poop it out and eat it again. Same thing, right? Same thing. You got to digest it twice. So we see here, he said, what a bunny, it chew the cud. Ain't that what it say?
The hair, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof, he is unclean.
He said, but he didn't have that hoof, right?
He got like a paw.
He said that thing's unclean. So why you think he unclean? Because he eat his own poop. You know what I'm saying? This ain't got nothing to do with us. We can do it with the cow. That thing ain't never really came out of the cow. It ain't like the cow throw it up and then eat it again. The cow, it come up, goes back into his mouth, and then he swallow it again. That thing stay on the inside. That bunny, though, that thing go fully digest. Then he eat that thing again. We don't mess with that type of stuff. Bunny's a nasty bunny. All right? And then they have eggs. Go to Leviticus chapter 19. Let's see. All right, so we already know the bunny is unclean. So, I mean, per adventure, it did have eggs, right? Even if we ate the egg, that would be an unclean animal for us. Nothing about the day is about God. Couldn't be. Couldn't be if you have a bunny, an unclean animal, and it decides to have eggs that it really shouldn't have. Couldn't be. So now what's our other possibility for a bunny having eggs? Let's see. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. Watch what he said.
Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let the cattle gender with a diverse kind.
Right? He said you shouldn't let the cattle gender with what?
A diverse kind.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
All right, he said don't even mix your seed. Right? So he said don't mix the animals and don't mix the seed. He specifically said it about the cattle. So if you got, I mean, let's just think about it. You got a bunny that's laying chicken eggs. Right? A bunny lays chicken eggs. What have you just done? You just gendered the animal. Right? You just gendered the animal. You're suggesting that this bunny laid with a chicken. It doesn't make any sense. From each way you look at it, it's against our law. Right? It's against our law. But these people don't think about it like that because they don't care about the law. Right? So now you have what you end up with is you have Christians this weekend itching, can't go into church. I took a screenshot. Let me see if I can find it. I took a screenshot on my phone. You had a local Christian church. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. You had a local Christian church, and the man said, here it is. The man said, celebrate Easter at Church LV with passion. Look, this is what he said. This is the thing he advertising. Passionate worship. We can roll with passionate word. We got that. That's good. Passionate word. Encouraging word. We talked about that one last week, right? You know what I mean? That one's a little iffy. Right? Ain't nothing wrong with being encouraged by the word. But, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you understand what that thing means, right? So he said encouraging word. We'll give him a half a check mark on that one. We got to know what he mean by that, right? And then the last thing he said, watch what he said. Last thing he said, and the egg hunt. So now what does that have to do with the word? Right? You just mix all this stuff. So what did he just do? He gendered the word. He mixed the word with idolatry. What does the egg hunt have to do with Mr. Benny Perez at LV Church, the Church LV, right? He says celebrate Easter. Easter has nothing to do with the book, right? The thing that we celebrate is the day of unleavened bread, the week of unleavened bread. We celebrate Passover. We celebrate the first fruit sheaf waving, right? That's the timeline, right? What day is Easter on every year? Sunday, right?
Everybody say Friday.
If she needs give her not a pen, a marker. I just need you to draw me 2 calendars. Not 2 calendars. Give me 2 weeks on that board.
No marker.
We about to try to figure that thing out real quick. Let's see if we can try to figure it out. What they tell you today? Happy good darn Friday. My good. I just need you give me about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Monday, Sunday through Saturday. That one dry? Uh-oh. I've been waiting to get you writing on the
You know what I'm saying? She talking about everybody head right.
Oh boy, that thing crooked and some more stuff. Ooh, woo, I've been waiting. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to clean it up now. We might have to put Carlita to work. You're terrible too? You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
My handwriting cracking on paper. Got good handwriting on paper. Cursive at school no more.
Who needs cursive?
Why are you doing?
Sign your name on something? Documents?
Okay. You need to know the whole cursive alphabet to sign your name up. You know what I do to sign my name? P line.
Because you're uncultured.
All right. Bet you my documents are signed though. We might need a little more space on them.
I didn't know.
We'll work with it though. All right. So what do we know for sure? Go ahead and give me some days. So look, we're gonna get. I guess we can't put the day. What do we know for sure about timeline? Timeline. There's a timeline of Yahushua. We talking about Easter Sunday, Good Friday, all this stuff. What do we know? What are some facts that we know for sure about the timeline of Yahushua's death and resurrection? All right. Well, the book tells us. So that's doctrine, right? Doctrine. What we would teach is that he went to Abraham's bosom for 3 days and 3 nights. But clearly, the book says for sure that he was in the heart of earth for 3 days and 3 nights. So we know that for sure. 3 days and 3 nights, the man was dead, right? He's in the heart of the earth for 3 days, 3 nights, right? What can we get that'll land us on one of these days on the calendar, though? Because 3 days, 3 nights could land us anywhere. You know what I'm saying? What do we have? What do we know for sure?
He wrote Sunday.
We know for sure he rose on a Sunday. So on that second Sunday, go ahead and give me he rose. How do we know that? Let's go ahead and grab it so people don't think we playing no voodoo with the book. You know what I'm saying? Go get Luke chapter 24. This is Luke chapter 24, verse 1.
Upon the first day of the week.
He said, on which day of the week?
The first day of the week.
What is that?
Sunday.
That would be what we call Sunday today, right?
Very early in the morning.
He said, how early?
Very early
He
in the
said,
morning.
very early. That thing was still dark outside if we read it. Give me John chapter 20, verse 1. Hold Luke. It might be Carlita. I don't know what these people do. It might
we
be
ain't been
though.
in church in some years, so you have to let us know what the fad is.
I know I used to.
Oh yeah, they have to. You know,
So
Easter they
you
back
have
that
to,
up.
you
You
know,
got some people that's the only day of the year they come.
overflow room wasn't enough.
You know what's crazy? That's hard. That's hard book till it's Passover is. He said on Passover, he said 3 days out of the year shall all your males show up, right? Before the Most High God. All right. So he said everybody had to come at least 3 days out of the year.
No matter where you are.
Yeah, no matter where you are, you make that journey. Right? That's how these people treat Easter. Right? We got good stuff in this book. These people throw it away and just look for stuff that's not even in there. And what that does is it causes people who don't agree with the Bible, right? They poke holes because obviously you can poke holes in that. It's easy to look at that and be like, Easter, bunnies, eggs. Man, they talking about anybody who know a little bit of history and do a study about ancient religions and all that. They look at that and be like, that's just like Ishtar. These Christians stole that from Ishtar. The Bible is fake, right? Because who teach the Bible? Where you going? If you want to know about the Bible, you just wake up one day and be like, man, I want to hear about the Bible. Who you gonna go to? You gonna go to a Christian. You might go to a Catholic, right? Christians, through the history of historydom, right? They're the ones who've been teaching the Bible and pushing the Bible, right? So when we look at it, if somebody sees something wrong with what a Christian does, they automatically associate that with the Bible. They say the Bible is false, right? But really, it's not. It has nothing to do with the Bible. They didn't get that stuff from the Bible. These Christians didn't get this stuff from the Bible. They got it from their own stuff. They got it from exactly where you said they got it from, Ishtar, right? Astaroth. That's what they copy and that's what they emulate. All right. So we know he rose on Sunday. Let's keep reading. This is John chapter 20, verse 1.
First day of the week comes Mary Magdalene early when it was yet dark.
He said when it was yet dark, right? Go back to Luke chapter 24, verse 1. So in John chapter 20, verse 1, it was the first day of the week and it was yet dark. I mean, that thing was still dark. In Luke, he said that thing was very early. All right, let's see.
Now, upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them.
That's not what I want. Give me Mark chapter 16, verse 1. Cause just, you know what I'm saying, sometimes people, you know what I'm saying, they try to, you know what I'm saying, how you know that the first day of the week wasn't Monday? I mean, because I got a calendar that tell you the first day of the week was Monday. So we just want to make sure when they say first day of the week that we all talking about the same thing. Let's see.
And when the Sabbath was passed.
When the what?
Sabbath was passed.
Okay. Well, we know Sabbath is what?
Friday night.
We know it's Friday night to Saturday night, right? So that means, and we'll talk about that too. That way we don't get confused, right? So we know what the Sabbath is. He said, what did he say?
And when the Sabbath was passed.
He said, when the Sabbath was passed, what happened?
Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James and Salome and had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him.
All right. So they did it after the Sabbath was passed, right? They came up. So that was on the first day of the week, right? Right after the Sabbath on the first day of the week. So we got a marker now, right? We got a marker now. We know for sure that it was Sunday. He rose, right? If we kept on reading down, it'd say he wasn't there. Why seek you the living amongst the dead? Right? That's what the angels told the women. Right? So we know for sure that's one day. Let's see what else we can find out in the book, right? Let's go to let's see. Let's go to Luke chapter 24, verse 14. Matter of fact, hold Luke chapter 24, verse 14. We'll come back to that. Let's get John 19. So we're going to come back to Luke chapter 24, verse 14. But first we're going to grab John chapter 19, verse, give me verse, I don't know. 19 maybe? I don't want 19. I know that's not going to be right. Give me John chapter 19. Yeah, give me 19. We'll just read now. Hopefully that's early.
Pilate wrote a title.
Nah, that's too late. Just give me verse 4. Give me John 19, 13. John 19:13. Yeah, we'll take it.
Pilate therefore heard that saying. He brought Jesus forth and sat down in the judgment seat that is called the pavement, but in the Hebrew, the Batha.
Mm-hmm.
Was the preparation of the Passover.
It was what?
The preparation of the Passover.
So now we see when before Yahushua got judged, it was the preparation of the Passover, right? So he said they called it the preparation of the Passover before he was judged, right? Right when he is about to be judged. Let's see, read on down to about verse 27, 26. Give me 26. This is John 19, verse 26.
Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by whom he loved, said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Mm-hmm. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. From that hour that disciple took her under his own home. After this, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled the sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, put it in his mouth. Mm-hmm. Jesus therefore had received the vinegar. He said, It is finished. He bowed his head and gave up the ghost. Mm-hmm. The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation.
Because it was the what?
The preparation, that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day.
Okay, so he said they shouldn't remain on the cross the Sabbath day. So now if you look at it, you think about it, we already got our reference point. We know he died on Sunday, and now, we know he rose on Sunday, and now we see he died just before the Sabbath day, right? So that's why the Christian would say, well, that makes sense. Sunday, then before that was the Saturday or Sabbath, right? Then before that would have been Friday. That's where Good Friday comes from, right? But let's keep reading. Let's see.
Jews therefore, because it was the preparation, that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was a high day.
Right? He said that Sabbath day was a high day, right? So that tells us high just means special, right? This was a special Sabbath. It wasn't a regular Sabbath, right? So he said this Sabbath day was a high day, right? So we know that whatever happened the day after he died was a high Sabbath, right? It was a special Sabbath, right? Let's grab Luke chapter 24, verse 14. This is Luke chapter 24, verse 14.
They talked together of all these things which had happened. It came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Jesus himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him. And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad? The one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering said unto him, Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days? Mm-hmm. And he said unto them, What things? He said unto him, Concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty indeed word before God and all the people, how that the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. Mm-hmm. And beside all this, today is the third day since these were done.
He said today is what?
The third day.
And so what day was that? That was Sunday, because we just read the first verse. Luke chapter 24 told us it was Sunday. It was the first day of the week, right? And now he said today was the third day, and what happened?
These things were done. Since these
things were done, what else happened?
Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished which were early at the sepulchre.
And that's the same women that we looked at. They said very early, right? We looked at the beginning of Luke chapter 24, verse 1. It said it was very early. And now he's saying certain women, those same women that were there very early, he said certain women were at the sepulchre, and they said what?
When they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive.
Right? So they looked and saw he rose. And that was the first day of the week, very early. and they recognized it. Now he's saying this is the third day since these things happened, right? So now let's put up there. Let's count back 3 days. If Sunday is the third day, what would make the day that he died? Thursday, right? So Thursday, and we know that was the preparation for what?
Passover.
Passover. So we know Thursday, we got some dates now. That was the preparation for Passover. That makes Thursday what? What day of Abib?
14th day.
That makes it the 14th day. So now we can fill in some dates. All right? That make Friday the 15th. And then we ain't even got to get into that part. We'll get into that some other time. Right? But we had a 14th day on Thursday. Right? So now let's make sure this thing makes sense. He is in the grave for 3 days, 3 nights. Right? We know from the Gospels that at what time did he die? Huh? Even? What time? What was the time?
9th hour.
6th hour, right? All right, so at the 6th hour, he died. All right, so now we know that was noon. All right, the 6th hour would be 6 hours into the day. 6 hours into the day would be noon, right? Halfway through the day, right? So we know at noon on Thursday, he was dead. All right, so now let's count from there. Let's see how long it'll take us to get 3 days, 3 nights. Noon, Thursday, that's 1 day. All right, and that night would be the beginning of Friday, right? Because we know Genesis chapter 1, he said it was even and morning, and that was the first day. So we know a day is comprised of evening, and then morning. You had a sunset, then you had a morning, right? And that's a day, right? So now he told us that it was noon. So we have Thursday. Write it up there for me. I just need a. Now you don't have to write noon, but I just need a day and a night for each day. You know what I'm saying? So give me a D and an N. Now put it at the top. Okay, put it at the top over the right there. That's fine. We ain't got no evening Thursday. All we got is a day and Thursday. Then on Friday, let's get an evening. Got a day. All right. Saturday we got an evening. Got a day. All right. Then Sunday, what time you get up in there? That's it, very early, before light came, right? So all we got is the evening. All right, so let's see. Let's count and make sure we got everything we need. How many evenings we got? How many days we got? That thing work out perfect, right? It ain't too much, it ain't too little. Ain't it perfect? Any other way you try to spin it, you're gonna come up with short. I mean, let's say Friday is a good Friday. He died Friday. We know for sure he died noon. If we did it from there, we'd be short one of our what? Days or evenings? We'd be short a day. All right? And then some Hebrew Israelites teach that he died on Wednesday. All right? And then we had too many. All right? So that's why we try to look at it and make sure we go based off of what the book said. If we go off of the book, it tells us it was 3 days before Sunday. Right? Sunday was the third day, so it's clear. But if we don't pay attention to those things and just kind of come up with whatever theory we want, it won't make sense to us. All right? That's what we look at, and that's why we keep the Passover, and that's why we keep unleavened bread. We don't keep Easter or celebrate Easter. All right? We'll try to close out. Grab Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Let's see where these people get their holidays from.
Go ahead.
We're going to I forgot now.
Jeremiah 10.
It's Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Give me verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. You're going to see where they get their holidays from.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
All right, he said, learn not the way of the heathen. Heathen would be equivalent to a Gentile. All right, he said, learn not the way of the heathen.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
He said, and don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. All right, you know, a lot of people, they started their year, even Hebrews, right? They start the beginning of the year with what they call the equinox. All right, and during the equinox in Russia and like places that they call it the edge of the world, but in places like Russia, you can see little signs in the sky. Like you can see there's beautiful little colors and everything flowing through the sky. You can see it in different parts of the world, but Russia is one of them. Right? And that for them marks the beginning of the year. He's telling them, do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven. We don't mark our year that way. Right? We don't mark it. We mark it. He told us to look at the herbs in the ground, right? You look at the vegetation. Right? Abib means spring green. Right? It means green that are coming up. Right? What these people will call spring. Right? So when that green starts coming up, that's when we know the beginning of our year starts coming. Right? You know, we during the week of unleavened bread, we have what's called the first fruit sheaf waving. That means something has to begin. That has to be the very first thing that starts to grow, right? So that's how we know when our holidays start. We don't do it based off of the sky. He told us to do it off of the ground. All right, keep going.
For the customs of the people are vain.
He said the customs, the traditions of these people are vain. It's empty, fake. All right, keep going.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
He said he cut the tree out of the forest. He go all the way to a forest and he cut a tree. This is Yah talking, right? How long ago was this written?
Years.
Thousands of years ago. All right, thousands of years ago this was written. He telling us about cutting a tree out of the forest. Let's see if this sounds familiar at all. They cut a tree out of the forest.
The work of the hands of the workmen with an axe.
Mm-hmm.
With the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Hold on. So you got a tree that you cut out of the wilderness, out of the forest, and then you deck it with silver and gold. I don't know what this sounds like. Let's see.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
Wait a minute. You mean after that you put nails inside of the tree that way it doesn't move? Who does this? Who would do such a thing? Let's see.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
All right. He says upright as the palm tree, but it don't speak.
They must needs be born because they cannot go.
Right, and somebody has to carry it because it can't go nowhere. Right? What is he talking about? A darn Christmas tree. All right? These are the things that we look at. All right? These are the things that we look at in the book. He's warning us the entire time, do not follow these people. Do not follow the things that they do. And what happens is, once Gentiles became Christians, right? Once Gentiles got a taste of our word, they kept their traditions. They kept worshiping Ashtaroth, right? They kept worshiping the sun god. They kept worshiping trees. And then they tried to go, well, I'm a Christian too, and they blend all these things together. That's why I tell everybody, all it takes is nothing to be a Christian, right? A lot of these Christians, you hear them fight about what's a true Christian and what's not a true Christian, but they can't prove it in the book because the book can't tell you what a Christian is. It never called you to be a Christian, right? It never even tried to explain what a Christian was. It just told you, somebody call you a Christian, don't even worry about it. It's just like them calling you a murderer, right? They call you a murderer. Don't say, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that, man. They're going to call you all types of stuff. He said, just don't suffer as a wrongdoer, right? Right? So that's what we look at. We do not want to follow the vain traditions, right? This stuff confuses people. It confused us when we were children, right? A lot of us struggle with it now. A lot of us, when we stop celebrating Christmas and Easter and all that stuff, we had a tough time. We had a tough time because our mind was so confused about these traditions that we've been following our whole life, right? That's why it's important for us to get ourselves away from it, re-cleanse our mind, and keep the Lord's days. These days have meaning, right? They have history. It's something that actually means something in our Savior. All right? Any question or anything? We keep it short and then we pray out.